too complacent, because this is a dangerous team also.
Very dangerous team making their way to center court, championship court here in Hermosa. I just talked about the history of Hermosa Beach. And today, this weekend, was an historic weekend because for the final time in his legendary career, Croc graced the sand and the shore of Hermosa Beach. 6 times a winner here at Hermosa Beach. Croc and Kevin Wong finished in 5th place, and he bid farewell to the fans, although the fans won a little more.
One more year! One more year! One more year!
Joined as always by the legendary Croc. Your emotions playing your final Hermosa Beach Open.
The Rosie's Raiders were on fire calling for one more year, but my body's hurting too much. Had a blast playing here. Everybody who loves to play beach volleyball loves to play in Hermosa Beach. Some of the most knowledgeable fans, some of the most enthusiastic fans, the wonderful deep sand of the South Bay. There's nothing like it.
Well, nothing like the performance of Olson and Ring this weekend. They called themselves Team Dream Draw. Why?
Yes, they do. You know, Jason Ring is only 6'3". Of course, he jumps about 50 inches out of the sand, and Matt Olson's only 6'2". So every team comes in against them thinking, well, we're favored against this team. We're going to take them down, and they keep taking them down. They've taken down the 3rd place team, Dax and Nygaard, and they've beaten so many good teams, and here they are in the finals. They keep surprising teams. It's small on small, and nobody expected that would do this well on the AVP Tour.
Surprise, surprise, Dalhausser and Rogers are the favorite in today's final. For the official introductions, we go down to the stand and Chris McGee.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Hermosa Beach, it is go time. Ask yourself this question: are you ready? Here we go, the Hermosa Beach Finals, ladies and gentlemen, and playing in his first ever final, growing up in Encinitas, beautiful San Diego, California. Say hello to the new Matty-O, Matt Olson. Are you ready? Yes, he is. And his partner, ladies and gentlemen, grew up in Bend, Oregon, ladies and gentlemen. Then he went to the University of Hawaii. In 1996, he led his team to the national championship game. He's a 2-time All-American and a 1-time Open winner. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the show with a 52-inch vertical jump, Jason Ring. And yes, he works out. Other side of the net, the #1 team in the entire AVP Croc Tour. Ladies and gentlemen, when he came out of the womb, he was already 6'9". He's the most intimidating force in the entire world, and he goes by the Thin Beast. Ladies and gentlemen, 13 open wins, Philip Dalhausser. I want to embrace you, young man. Embrace the beast. And his partner, ladies and gentlemen, growing up in beautiful East Beach, Santa Barbara, California, San Marcos High School. Then he played for Teddy Preston at UCSB. Last year, he won his first MVP of the AVP. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the god of the beach, the professor, 25 times a winner, Todd Rogers.
Jason Ring against Matt Olson. Jason Ring and Matt Olson against Bill Dalhausser and Todd Rogers. Our matchup is set for the men's final here at Hermosa Beach. Time now to navigate the match, brought to you by Nautica. And for that, here's Sinjin.
Okay, Olson and Ring, you know what they're going to have to do out here? They're going to have to play big. That's Ring, by the way, has to play big because he's blocking. 6'3", but he jumps out of the sand like you can't believe. Olson, slash and dig. They're going to serve him most of the balls. He's got to get the ball around the Thin Beast. Slash it this way, slash it that way, and then he's got to dig everything near him. Dalhausser and Rogers. What they got to do is stay in cruise control. They have dominated this tournament so far. They beat everybody, including this team. Keep it going, but no sleeping at the wheel. If they fall off, watch out for Olson and Ring. They're a dangerous team. They're small, but dangerous.
3 titles. They are in their 5th Final 4. Rules of the game here on the AVP Croc Tour. Best 2 of 3 games. The first 2 games to 21 points. The third, if needed, to 15. Rally scoring is in effect, which means each team earns a point on each play. You must win each game by 2 points. Jason Ring, Matt Olson in their first finals as teammates, but they've been around it as they are participating this weekend in their third Final Four. Todd Rogers, the reigning MVP of the AVP, will serve to get us started. And we are underway. Jason Ring with that big vertical earns the first point of the match. A pro since the year 2000, Jason Ring teamed with Matt Olson, who has played on the Australian National Tour. His career best finish was this year, a third place in Miami. This will be even better than Miami in Glendale because it's at least a second, perhaps his first ever title. Dalhausser, and it's deep. Jason Ring, one career title. That was in 2004 with his former partner George Romaine. Grew up on a farm in Bend, Oregon with three brothers, skiing, fishing, hiking, no ball sports, until he found the beach. And he found himself a great ability to be very good at this sport of beach volleyball. The Thin Beast with his first point of the afternoon. The Thin Beast, 6'9", Phil Dalhausser, 12 career wins, and they keep on counting. They keep on moving up quickly. Led the tour in blocks the last two seasons. Once again, the dominant player at the net this year on the AVP Crocs Tour. Big serve. And the ball sails wide. The Professor Todd Rogers, number 2 active player amongst American men in wins. Of course, Karch Karai, number 1 with 148. 24 domestic wins. 3 times the reigning best defensive player on the tour. And he won Hermosa in 2001 with his former partner, Dax Holdren.
He's just a little bit behind Karch, though, right?
Just a teeny little bit. Olson over the top. And it sails wide. The presence of the Thin Beast.
The presence will definitely intimidate you as a hitter, but Jason Ring is 1 for 1 in tournament finals, so he wants to keep his winning streak alive. The only time he was in a final, they won a few years ago in Huntington Beach with George Romaine.
A big George Romaine. It's a little different with little Matty O out there.
Little Matty O with the hammer.
Well, Matt Olson missed the play before trying to go over Dalhausser, so this time he's figuring, I'm going to try and sizzle the pits and go right past his right armpit there. Dalhausser left him a tiny bit of space. Slipped it through. That's what you have to do when you're only 6'2", is hit around him.
Tied at 3 early. They serve Rogers. Rogers makes no mistake. The teams will switch sides, and we will step aside. Todd Rogers, Phil Dalhausser lead Jason Ring and Matt Olson 4-3 early in our men's final at Hermosa. The AVP Crocs Tour, Toyota. Hermosa Beach Open presented by Bud Light is being brought to you by Toyota. Toyota, moving forward. By Crocs, play hard, live comfortably. By Xbox, the ultimate gaming experience is available now. And by refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. Great refreshing weekend here as we get a look at our Bud Light recap. Jason Ring, Matt Olson in the final. How did Team Dream Draw do it, Karchi?
Well, two things to note. Number one, watch how often they went to a third and decisive game and came out on top. Also, Holdren and Nygaard are a very good team. They got third place. Olson Ring took them down. They played Dalhausser and Rogers very close that first game, took Kirai Wong down, gave us a fifth, and beat another great team, Lambert and Metzger, gave them a third place. In that last 15-13 game, they were down 12-10 and scored 5 out of the last 6 points.
Outstanding finish to get here. Phil Dalhausser, Todd Rogers, not quite as dynamic of play was needed to get to the finals.
Well, I'll tell you how they got to the finals. They got there in their sleep. Hagigi and Pearson, Doble Mariano, Furbringer, Scott, that was their best match, Furbringer and Scott. I feel sorry for Furbringer and Scott. If you're going to have to play against these guys, it's going to be hard to make it to the finals. And then they beat Olson and Ring, and then they got there to the final by beating Nygaard and Holdren.
As Karch mentioned, Holdren and Nygaard in the Final Four again. They finish in third place. Lambert and Metzger found the winner's circle only once so far this season. First time this year, we did not see Gibbon Rosenthal in the finals. Karch Karai, Kevin Wong, a fifth place finish. Furby and Williams amongst the seventh place finishers here in Hermosa Beach. Sneaking a look from the pier because the seats are sold.
If you weren't in your seat hours before the finals, you were not going to get a seat there. People still waiting outside to get in.
Dalhausser at the net.
2 hits. You can't do that. There was a huge block by Dalhausser. Oops. Boom. It hit him once. And then twice. You can't do that. You can't hit it twice after the block. It was a close set. You don't want to set the ball close when Dalhausser's up. Jason had nothing to do but just swing hard and hope for the best, and it didn't happen.
5-3. Jason Ring, man, he can get up, but that one is wide.
And St. John, you were talking about it before the broadcast, how many kills per game Matt Olson is having. He's having a great tournament and a great year. But unlike most teams, Dalhausser and Rogers go at Jason Ring, and they've already gotten 2 errors from him with the block. Oh, I guess there was a net called or a touch called on the block on Dalhausser, but that ball otherwise sailed out of bounds, and they like to put pressure on Jason Ring because he's the one having to do in the jump and the block. Let's see if we can see a touch on this particular play right here. Not there. In my opinion. No, you could see.
And off Todd Rogers perhaps. His right hand, he pulled it back so quickly that not many people could see it, but sharp-eyed lines person over there did see it.
And it was just a little while ago somebody brought a ball for some of the players to sign in the players' tent. And the referee who made that call over in the corner, Brant Lee, B. Lee, his signature was, "The referee is always right side, B. Lee." He looked right on that one. I think Todd touched it, but not Phil.
By the way, I beg to differ on that call.
Yeah. You beg to differ on the autograph, actually. Ring again.
That's their best play when Jason runs really quickly, gets a very low set. It's almost like a quick set there. But to get him out of that, you have to serve him tougher so that they can't run that play so easily. They talk about how high Ring gets off the sand, but just watch how much time he spends in the air. Up, up, up.
It's unbelievable. The landing. That landing has got to be hard on your knees, I'll tell you, when you're up that high.
I want to see the vertical leap contest between he and Sean Rosenthal. Dalhausser with the hammer.
And that's where you might have a problem. That's where you might have a problem as a 6'2" or 6'3" blocker. He's getting up, but he's really struggling to try to get that left hand over. He went all with his right hand, pulled it far out of the area that he was supposed to take the line.
Ring, an undersized middle blocker at Hawaii, where he was an All-American. Played in college with Sean Scott, did Jason Ring. Ring and Olson earned that point.
The one thing about jumping so high that can be a negative is you got to make a decision early on. If you're jumping up that high, you commit to something, you have no chance to go back the other way because you have to commit earlier if you're jumping that high.
So there is an advantage for me having no vertical lead. That's right. Dalhausser. And that makes it 8-6. Phil Dalhausser, Todd Rogers trying to win for the 4th time in 5 events this 2007 season.
Check 1, 2. Anybody got me? All right, we're going to do a little new spot.
No shadows down there, by the way.
We've got some volleyballs.
What side do you guys want me on? Is all right?
Your good side.
Right behind the yellow pole.
I don't have one.
Maybe you got to get behind it.
Oh, yes, you do, Christopher.
Where do you guys want me?
You really don't want to ask us that.
All these guys in the booth think they're directors and producers up there, don't they?
We had to be last show.
Stick to your jobs, gentlemen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Hermosa Beach Open. The score is 8-6. Rogers Dalhausser leading here in game number 1 over Matt Olson and Jason Ring. Right here we have our solar safe weather conditions report. We needed this last week in Arizona when it was about 130 degrees on the sand. But here in Hermosa Beach, as usual, perfect. We're looking at 70 degrees, only about 85 on the sand. And you look at the UV index, that's at 7. That means you're pretty safe, but I recommend you do wear your sunscreen. Karchi, Cinch, and Goldie, you guys just love these conditions, don't you? It's just perfect. I might just stay down
Absolute
here.
perfection. We actually don't have to chastise Geeter for wearing his black AVP shirt today, like he did in the desert last week.
He was just showing how tough he was.
And you pointed that out. We do know how tough he is.
You know, these are the ideal conditions to play in. It's not that windy. It's cool enough where you're not cold, but you don't get overheated.
8-6, big serve. That's deep. 9-6.
And that's the kind of error that Ring might make when they don't have a perfect pass and a perfect set, but still try to run that really quick offense to keep Dalhausser off balance. What they're doing is running the quick offense, especially when Dalhausser is serving, to make it so he doesn't even have enough time to get up to the net to block.
Here's Rogers. Kept alive. Another swing. And again. Over the top. And the point goes to Matt Olson.
Wow, I know we're going to see a hell of a lot of digs in this game. Ring and Olson are not going to hammer that ball. Well, Ring maybe, but Olson's going to avoid the block all the time. But here's the the big hit cross court, and it was a great dig by Rogers. And then from that point on, it's just dig back and forth, and Rogers runs this one down, and he did get his hand on the ball, but the ball hit the sand also, and that is not legal. A ball cannot hit the sand.
So the point goes to Olson and Ring. 9-7, Rogers Dalhausser, game 1. Hermosa Beach. Rogers and Dalhausser trying to defend their title of 1 year ago. In fact, over the last 8 events, we've had 8 different men's winners here on one of the most historic beaches in the history of the game. Both men sitting next to me
won 6 times each. St. John Smith, Karch Karai here at Hermosa. The battle at the net, and the ball sails just out.
The battle with
the big
Olson
man against
blocking.
the little man. Yeah.
I saw Olson get a block earlier today. You don't expect it, but he's got long arms, and you don't have to get high as long as you're in the right place.
And I don't know if Jason Ring got a little tired, but they actually had Matt Olson block the last time they served.
Now Ring. And Ring with the hammer. Interesting how Ring and Olson became a team. Good things happen when you travel together to Hawaii.
Absolutely. They plan on going over there to do some training along with Metzger and Lambert and some of the other teams. And Matt Olson was injured a little bit, so they hit the happy hour a couple of times and did a lot of surfing. And they found out how great they got along together off the court. They both feel that's really important.
And Dalhausser with the finish. Last year, Jason Ring played with George Romaine. He got hurt. Sean Rooney, Paul Baxter, Scott Lane, Austin Rester, Reed Pretty. Had no Final Fours. This year he finds Matt Olson, and they're in the Final Four for the 3rd time in 5 events.
Well, clearly he was playing with guys that are way too tall. He needed a short guy so that Jason could go up and block the ball.
Overpass. Forget about that one.
And Ring talks about his year. He says he had an awful year last year, but came in much better this year.
And so far, they are being overwhelmed by the #1 team as Team Dream Draw trails 13-8.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Hermosa Open. Chris McGee, the Golden God, Matt Furbringer. We're in the Crocs Lounge. Furby, I want to start off with you and Sean Scott. It was big news this year when you guys partnered up, 2 blockers playing together. And then you guys had kind of a rough start, but then you got a 3rd in Dallas. But you followed that up with some poor finishes. Last week in Arizona, there was a lot of talk of you guys breaking up. Everyone waiting by the phones for the breakup, the domino effect, but you guys stayed together.
We did, and I'm really glad we did. It was, anytime when we came in the season with such high expectations for ourselves, because that's we expect to win every weekend, but, sometimes it doesn't go the way you plan, but we have to stick with it and fight this out. We're both players trying to play new positions. I'm playing right side, and, if we stick this out, I still think long-term this is my partner.
What was the conversation about? Did you guys say, let's take it one tournament at a time, or let's do this thing, Golden God?
We said, let's do this. And we definitely, last week the rumors were real. We were like, can't wait to do this. But I think this was the 2nd time that we cemented it and said, hey, let's make this happen. The option for us right now is us making this happen. And not let's switch and find someone else to do something. It was like, let's make this happen and do it. And we made a commitment. We did a little better this week. And next week, I think we're going to go forward.
Now, Furby, you guys finished with a 7th place finish. The score is 13-9. Dalhausser and Rogers leading. Let's talk about Jason Ring and Matt Olson. Not a flash in the pan. These guys are now in their 1st final of the year, but this is their 3rd Final Four. They're an exciting team.
They're a really athletic team. They do a lot of great things. They mix up their sets. They pass well. They serve well. And, Jason's doing a good job up at that net. He's making people work hard. And Matt Olson's really come into his own. I remember watching him last couple of years. And now he's side out is so consistent. He's got such good ball control. And he's got power. So I'm excited for these guys. They look great.
You're one of the great blockers in the world, along with Phil Dalhausser. What do you do when you watch him play? What are you most impressed with?
with me, for Phil, it's the little things he does so well. You know, it's you see Rogers get blocked, he makes the cover. You see him get blocked, he makes the cover. You see him make those touch plays. His transition set, like that one right there, is just it's always right. It's always good. So really impressed that. And then his serving and blocking just continues to get better. So you know, he's playing great. In order to beat him, you have to bring your A game. Play that much.
Well, Matty, we appreciate you stopping by the Croc Lounge. We appreciate your honesty and your candidness. You're a true professional. You know what? You're a good-looking man and a good man. And tell Goldie and those guys that you're ready for the final.
Goldie, I'm ready to get the final. Can I get out there? I guess that's up to me, though. So they can't do anything about that.
All right, back to you guys from the Croc Lounge.
He is truly one of the many class acts on the men's side of the tour. And Matt Furbringer and Casey Jennings, longtime partners, were always a ton of fun to watch. And it seemed they always reigned supreme in the state of New Jersey, the Garden State.
And that was one of the rumors flying around last weekend. Would they reunite?
Yes. Jennings and Williams with a fifth this weekend as well. Go! Rogers over the top. Matt Olson, a unique story, actually played at the University of Arizona, but on the club team, Karchi. But at the club of Arizona, you give scholarships.
That's right. They have the 4.5, just like a Division I school. He was also recruited by his opponent right here, Todd Rogers, to play at UCSB, but he was asked to play defense, and he wanted to play front row also. So he decided to play at Arizona instead. His brother did too. They both met their future wives there. He said it was all good. It worked out great there.
Kind of like St. John when he wanted to do what he wanted to do. He wasn't going to listen to anybody say anything else, right?
That's right. Don't you forget it.
To be. Absolutely, sir.
No, I listened to Stokey, by the way.
There you go.
I had to.
Dalhausser to Rogers.
Did you listen to him or pretend to listen to him?
Well,
it only looked like you listened to him.
I did what I did with you, Cards. I pretended.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, don't forget the Best Damn Sports Show, period, is the greatest nightly sports show on television with your hosts Chris Rose, John Sally, Rob Dibble, and Rodney P. The Best Damn Sports Show, period, weeknights at 11 p.m. only on FSN. Mike Goldberg, St. John Smith, Karch Karai, Chris McGee, our crew from AVP Croc Store. Glad to be in Hermosa Beach. Wow. Really going after it is Jason Ring.
That's one thing you got to watch out about if you're Dalhausser. Jason hits the ball so hard, he'll break your fingers. He'll just break them.
Or he might take one in the nose like he has in some of the other tournaments.
Jason's so strong, he gets up so high. When he unloads on the ball, oh, he's just lucky it went through his arms. If it hit his fingers, I don't know. That's dangerous for me. I wouldn't do it.
No,
I'd send you up.
I know you would. I'd be up there. I'd be there. I'd take one for you. Rogers.
13-17.
Trying to make a comeback here in game one. Couple of
one.
straight points for Olson and Ring, 17-13.
And they've done it before. Last week, these two teams played in the semifinals in Glendale, and the first game was a phenomenal game, 25-23, barely lost by Olson Ring.
This is the fourth all-time matchup of these two teams. Dalhausser, and the ball sails out of bounds, 17-14. The first three matchups have all belonged to Dalhausser Rogers, and they've all occurred in the last 2 weeks because they met twice in Glendale. This is the second meeting of these two teams here this weekend in Hermosa, as we mentioned earlier.
Dalhausser looked a little confused. He's going, how did they get to 14? What's going on here?
Olson again to serve. Floater to Rogers. Rogers finds the line.
That is so dangerous, that shot by Rogers. He just barely ticked the line on that shot, and it's almost an impossible shot to block and to dig because it is so severe back to the line, and it lands on the line.
Phil Dalhausser, the leader on the tour in aces. And the hammer is denied by the roof.
19-14.
Well, here they are, Ring and Olson running the quick play again, trying to catch Dalhausser while he's still coming up from his serve, but obviously he is very well prepared for that. Chin still over the net and reaching to take what we call the line seam. He's shutting off the line, making Ring look like he can hit that angle, and then uses that right hand and shuts it down.
19-14. Big serve. Jason Ring a little bit off the net this time, and it worked out a little bit better.
He used Rogers' shot, that little squeaker down the line. But what's amazing is if you watch Jason and watch the timing, he jumps up. Dalhausser watches him jump and doesn't jump till Ring is way up in the air. So it's the benefit of waiting and watching and then going up the block.
Here's Rogers. And blocked by Jason Ring.
Wonderful job, young man. 19-16. Make a little noise. Here.
Unbelievable. Jason up at the same time as Rogers. Up, over, and oh, that came back so fast. Unbelievable.
He looks like he's swimming. You can see his legs moving all around. He is up in the air for so long that he can kick his feet back and then forth as he penetrates the net with his arms.
Ring is in the top 10 in blocks on the tour. Can't get that one. Rogers over the top brings us to game point. Dalhausser and Rogers starting to separate themselves from a very highly competitive men's tour.
Game point, game number one. You know what that means. On
Game
your feet,
point number one.
Here we
Game
go,
one.
20-16.
Rogers to serve. Game point number two.
Rogers looked like he slowed down that time when he came up to hit the ball. Didn't get up in the air and then didn't clear the net.
17, look at 20.
Matt Olson to serve in his first career final. Dalhausser for the game, and he's got it. Game one goes to Dalhausser and Rogers, 21-17. The top seeds are one win away from capturing another title. We've been here every year since 1984. A total of 40 men's, 39 women's tournaments. Stop 5 of the 2007 season, Hermosa Beach, California. One of the 18 tournaments worth over $4 million. 5 of those in the state of California, here for the year 2007.
Now Yeah, 84 is when the AVP started coming here, but Croc and I, we've been here for a while longer than that.
Absolutely. You were here in the 50s and the 60s, and Karch was here this year. Talk about the history of the Hermosa Beach Open, and this is as historic an event as we have. One pier south, if you will, of course, from Manhattan Beach. The AVP began play, as you talked about, in 84. Different teams on the men's side won the last 8 tournaments. You guys a half dozen each. Dalhausser and Rogers trying to defend. Rogers, that service is deep.
Wow, you don't see Todd serve many balls out of bounds. You know, he's not serving a real tough serve, so I think that's why we see him hardly ever make a mistake.
Todd Rogers, our assistant coach at UC Santa Barbara, as Karch talked about, tried to get Matt Olson to come play there. Now he plays against Matt Olson on the beach, and Jason Ring has plenty of beach volleyball players in which he currently resides with. I mean, he lives in a house full of beach volleyball studs.
And that time again, Jason Ring choosing not to block, putting Olson up at the net. I'm not sure that's a good matchup, Olson versus Rogers.
Big service. Here's Olson. And net
violation 2-2.
Dalhausser was just a little bit too hungry for that one and reached over. He couldn't get his hand on it, but he did get his hand on the net.
And that is not legal.
No.
2-2. Dalhausser and Rogers, champions in Miami, champions in Dallas, beaten in the semifinals in Huntington Beach, champions last week in Glendale. They've already won the $100,000 bonus for the Gold Crown Series. They're racking up the points.
Although they backed into it, and they talked, you just mentioned losing in the semifinals in Huntington Beach. They both feel like that was a really good lesson for them because they've never been so nervous as when there was $100,000 on the line. That can serve them well over the next 18 months as they make their push for Beijing.
Dalhausser pushes it out of bounds. Dalhausser in that matchup that you spoke of when they lost in the semifinals finished Karch with 3 straight service errors. You have to learn from those little things, though, don't you?
And they know there are going to be a lot more big matches on the AVP Tour and elsewhere, and they have to be prepared to handle that and focus not on the prize money or if there's a medal at stake, but on the next play and then the next play. And if you miss a serve, you get your next one in, and learning to practice their focus better.
That's tight at the net. And Rogers able to overcome. Rogers over the top, 4-3, game 2. Dalhausser and Rogers looking for yet another win here in 07 on the AVP Croc Store. Dalhausser Rogers with the lead for the 2007 Crocs Cup. Gibb and Rosenthal missed their first finals of the season here this weekend in Hermosa. Lambert and Metzger have won only once so far this year, and Olson and Ring very competitive in their third Final Four in this, the 5th event of the year. His wife, Matt's Lindsay Olson, played on the women's club team at Arizona. She's a AAA qualifier. She wants to start trying to qualify for some tournaments, and his whole family's here, including Mom, Mrs. Olson, in attendance today to watch her son in his first career final. Dad's here as well. Everybody in support of the team of Ring and Olson, at least in that portion of the stands.
And he said he might have had a bigger section last week in Arizona where he went to school, but a louder one this weekend.
Ring gets up again. Doesn't matter when the thin beast is there, though. In certain situations, you can do everything right. It's going to turn out wrong.
Well, again, that set was just a tad close, I think. There wasn't much room. He just had to hit it into the block and hope for the best. But, again, the best didn't happen.
5-3. Dalhausser to serve. See what Rogers does here. Olson up the net court.
It's hard to block it when you hammer it off the tape. You know, you have to be in a perfect position. So Matteo took advantage of the equipment and just hammered it down the line off the tape.
Well, Ring was talking about it earlier today. He's playing with a partner who absolutely never gives up. So when he's at the net blocking, he's got to be ready because he's chasing balls down from everywhere. It's almost, Olson's getting his hands on so many of those digs.
Oh, Jason just caught the net. His partner makes a great dig in the backcourt, but Jason, unfortunately, nets. Ball over to Dalhausser and Rogers.
And I think that's their better alignment. I think they got to have Ring at the net blocking every time. Either he's tired or he's feeling a little bit of cramps, but otherwise he's got to be up there.
Because of the loss to Dalhausser and Rogers earlier, as that one goes off the lid of the thin beast, we got our header. These guys came through the contenders bracket.
It looked like it went off his head, but the only way we're going to be able to tell is this super slow, and it is off his head. And fortunately, that ball got hit quick because Dalhausser was still going up. Had he gone up a little higher sooner, it would have been right in his mug.
Rogers finds open court.
And Rogers talked about it. He said with Dalhausser being so big, it's like anybody who's going to make a shot has to put it to the perfect spot at the perfect height, or Dalhausser will get his hands on it, or Rogers is going to get his hands on it. And that's what's so hard about trying to put the ball away against this #1 team on the AVP Tour.
They haven't figured it out. You just got to hit really hard at Dalhausser's head, and then it's going to go down.
Like that?
No, not his hands. Not like that.
I said head, not hands.
I think what you have to do is take Dalhausser out of the game. Wow, nice strong right hand there. It almost got pushed away, but he keeps it on their side of the net for the block. The reason Gibb and Rosenthal won that semifinal a couple of weeks ago in Huntington Beach is they hit off speed, they hit some shots, they took Dalhausser out of the game. You've got to keep him from getting his stuff blocks.
Let's see what they do. That works.
And this time, Dalhausser is taking his area. Last time we saw him reach his right hand farther to his right, but he didn't take it this time. Again, both these guys elevate so high, it's amazing. Ring just crushing that ball. Todd Rogers having no chance on that one. But it's a risky hit. Rogers is there, but it's a risky hit because if Dalhausser ever reaches there, that is just a complete stuff block for a point.
Olson with the short service to Todd Rogers. Rogers with the cut. And the point, 9-6.
It's tough trying to cover the whole court. You know Rogers has the sharp back to the line and the very sharp cross court, so you really got to make a guess if you're going to get one of his shots up.
Dalhausser and Rogers an incredible 11-1 in title matches. They've won 7 of their 19 AVP events together and have been in the Final Four 17 times coming into this weekend. And the touch by Jason Ring.
You know, when Jason comes in for that quick one, you know, the defense has to make a move quick. And Todd got stuck. He was looking for the angle, and then Ring just popped it, an easy one right over the block, and Todd was...
I mean, opening up as a team, Sinjin, 11 of your first 12 finals, you reign supreme. That's an amazingly high percentage of wins, one we generally don't see with a new team.
Yeah, well, they're just good.
Yeah, they are absolutely separating themselves from the masses, as we talked about top of the show.
I mean, not only are they good, I mean, not only one of the best blockers, one of the best defensive players, and they make a good team. The personalities mesh, everything meshes very well. They complement each other very well. They're just a great team.
With the left and failed.
And Rogers talked about it. In their first match this weekend, they did not give up a single point when the other team was serving. We call that, he sided out, they sided out every time. Their next match, they sided out all but 2 times. So they can have great patience. When they put the ball away when they're receiving serve, the points will come. It's just a matter of whether it's early or late.
Big swing and an ace.
Ace serve.
Ace serve for Phil Dalhausser. It's 12-7.
Olson is usually such a great passer, but when the serve is coming that fast and all of a sudden it hits the top of the net and jumps up, it almost hits Olson in the chest. There it is. It jumps up and it catches him high and he just can't control it. You're not going to see that often from Olson. He's going to pass nails most of the time.
Off the net court again, this time handled. Oh, that's trouble. Open court.
What's amazing that play is the joust at the net. Little Matty Olson stuffs it through Big Dalhausser because he's below. There it is. He wasn't below, he was right up with him, but he hung on to the ball a little bit longer than Dalhausser. But he didn't get the point, unfortunately.
Exactly. 13-7, though, because of Todd Rogers' hustle. Another big serve by Dalhausser is going to give him a big swing, and he takes advantage. 14-7.
Dalhausser going high off the block. Multiple.
Running away with it, Dalhausser and Rogers.
We have a
Matt Olson downstairs with Chris McGee.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it, man. I know it's a tough time right now. Phil's just bombing that jump serve. Anything you can do?
Yeah, we got to slide out. Phil's a big guy, and Todd's unfortunately behind him, so best defensive team. We're just doing our best right now, trying to get a pass and set off these guys.
Now, last week in Arizona, you guys were the first team ever to really serve Phil for an entire game. Do you think you might give him a bone or two?
Tried a little in the beginning, and you know, the guy's just so big. He's got so much range. It's difficult for us. Might try it again. We'll see.
Yeah, hey, Matt, you guys got a great crowd here just waiting to explode for you guys. A couple points, you can get right back into this thing.
Need it right now. A couple points, we're right there.
All right, Matty, I appreciate it, buddy. Great job. Matt Olson, Jason Ring, trying to climb back in. Stick around. Hermosa Beach Open when we continue.
Oh, beautiful look at the Pacific Ocean. And we go to the Midwest next week as we continue 7 straight weeks on the AVP Crocs Tour. Our forthcoming schedule brought to you by our good friends at Toyota, Louisville, Kentucky, Tampa, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, for the first time ever, Charleston, South Carolina, and then to the venue that was always owned by Furbringer and Jennings, Seaside Heights in the Garden State of New Jersey, right after the July 4th holiday.
And which spot is known for its deep-fried Twinkies? That's a question.
That would be Seaside Heights.
Joyzy.
And don't forget Shoot the Door, too, with a paintball thing they had on the pier last year. And that was not people firing at St. John. Karch, a little help here. Support me, buddy.
I missed that one. But I'm willing to try it.
I like
you
that.
guys did for years, didn't you?
You guys watching the volleyball here? Did you see that block by Dalhausser?
Yes, we did. Yes.
That was awesome.
15-7. Actually, we were making fun of you.
Oh.
Big serve. Oh, my goodness. Still alive. Rogers with the hammer.
Well, another great block, huh? Dalhausser up and over.
Listen to the force. Quick hands by Olson just to keep the point alive.
All I heard was a ba-bum, the hit and the block.
16-7. Wow, he's teeing off on that jump serve. Ring handled it. And Ring can't finish. Getting away from him now, Karch.
Well, it's a high-risk offense, and it's scary every time you think about hitting that sharp angle, because if Dalhausser jumps in there, drops his hands in there, he takes it like he did 2 plays ago. So the next play, Ring tries to avoid him. It goes out of bounds.
This very similar to the matchup earlier in this tournament. 21-19, 21-11. Game 1, 21-17, now 17-7.
And the problem is that Dalhausser has his serve going so well that Olson and Ring just can't get good sets, and they can't make plays. That one, they had to put it over the net in a free ball situation. Rogers was going to eat that up for a point.
Looking for their 12th title as teammates. Off the net court, and it finds the line. Take it any way you can, Jason Ring.
The flex down after the put away from 25 feet with the left hand.
Well, it was a hammer serve that hit the net and then jumped up. The only thing Ring could do was put up his arm and let the ball hit it. It just happens to go back over the net. Here it is. Boom, so fast, he just gets his hand up in time. And Rogers goes, what's going on? That was an ace. Not quite. And Ring is happy.
It was 9-7 at one, then a 5-0 run for Dalhausser Rogers. Now it's 18-8. Big
Matt Olson was right there, but he was leaning backwards. He was expecting the big hammer by Phil, but he was very close. Watch, yeah, up for the big guy. He can jump, and then he just unloads the angle on that ball. And let's see if we can see Olson. He's moving into position. Boom! He should have been leaning forward. Then he may have been able to get a hand on that ball.
Todd Rogers, 19 kills, 10 this game. His partner had the last one. There's a kill for Matt Olson.
19-9. We switch sides. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Matt Olson takes a lot of pride, Karch, in his passing ability, and he learned that skill, or at least he perfected that skill with one of the best of the best.
Absolutely, the godfather in this tour, Jimmy the Nick Nichols. Olson was begging him a few years ago to play with him. He said, no, you're third on my list, but he kept begging, and they hooked up, and he learned a lot of ball control from Jimmy Nichols, and look at how far he's gone.
Mishandled ball. It's called a double set. Again, very hard to see that on television. But it wasn't one of Rogers' best sets, and he knows it. But he's still going to have a conversation with the referee.
That was a helicopter, by the way, boys, coming down the beach here in Hermosa.
Oh, I thought that was the set.
Yeah, no, that was a definitive helicopter.
By the way, And Nichols is even, Jimmy the Nick, Nichols is even shorter than Matt Olson.
Uh-oh. Another call goes against the top team on the tour, 1911.
Big problem when you set as well as Todd Rogers. Anything varying from a perfect set is going to get called. Not sure if that's the best way to do it, but that's the way they do it.
It's the standard in which he sets. Rogers will get a swing. Rogers with another kill.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the south side to the north side on.
Looking to repeat as champions here at Hermosa. Bill Dalhausser and Todd Rogers serving at game, match, championship point. Title.
What a set by Dalhausser, though. That's the thing that is so tough. You work so hard to get the ball past that block. Rogers comes up with it. Dalhausser puts him close. He had a great opportunity to finish the tournament out there.
The tough thing about the set was it came from the back court. Rogers couldn't see the block because he's watching the ball coming from behind him.
Here we go.
Game, match, championship point number 2. It is all over. Todd Rogers and Bill Dalhausser have defended their title at Hermosa Beach.
Matt Olson, Jason Ring,
Ring and Olson finish in second place as Dalhausser and Rogers win 21-17, 21-12. Back with more when we continue.